Hello, welcome to this introduction to Unleash Your Superpower. I'm really excited to show you what this program is all about and what it can do for you because so many writers struggle with the outreach part of the game. And it really can be as fun and as creative and interesting as actually writing your screenplays. You might be going, what are you talking about? But if you practice it that way and you think about it that way, you really can. I really enjoy promotion just as much as I enjoy writing screenplays, and I know you can too. So this is a program that will, if I can advance the slides, there it goes. It's divided up into three into two main sections. There's a series of mini workshops, um, and the mini workshops can be bought. You can get them independently, or you can get them as a whole collected package. Um, and then it gives you an overview of sort of what the system is. And then we're going to do a couple times a year a 28-day challenge where there's a whole community that goes in and tries to really apply and support each other, apply the system and support each other with the obstacles along the way. Because with any sort of system, there's obstacles, and then you learn really great things about yourself facing obstacles, just like the hero's journey in the story itself. And so when you have a really good community all devoted to it, it's a lot of fun, and I promise you, you're going to make amazing progress. But if you just are like, no, I don't need other people. I want to do it myself. You can just take the system piece by piece. Each of the four mini workshops show different aspects of the game that I found really helpful to actually sell scripts myself and to teach other writers for them to sell scripts too without representation or using the system to get representation. Right? It's pretty awesome and it's lots of fun. So basically, let's start with how you feel about networking, my friend. I like thinking about it in four different buckets. Level one is you hate networking, you never do it. Level two is you force yourself to network. Really kind of sucks. It's like punching the clock. It's a grind. Most of the traditional suggestions people make about how to do these things, contests, cold query letters, that stuff, that tends to be there. And people, it sucks for most people. If you like it, it's no problem, do it. But if it sucks for you, like that's for most people, then really check out this program because there's some really cool alternatives. Level three is you like some parts but not others, which is great, right? Because you can just keep doubling down and tripling down on the stuff that you like, or finding different ways to expand that to even more. And level four is you really do love it as much as you love screenwriting, that you find your soul unfolding in the way that you do your promoting, your relationship building, that just feels authentic and true to you and like fun. You look forward to it. And the same way you look forward to talking movies with your friends, right? Okay. So one key model I think that'll be really helpful is that you guys have already been doing this stuff your whole life, right? You can't be a human being and have any sort of relationships without having gone through this process. So you have the widest circle is all of humanity, right? There's a circle within that with that would be your acquaintances, right? You've made an acquaintance, maybe you know them somehow or another. This is like the sort of process of sort of going from human being who's a stranger to like somebody who collaborates with you. And then somebody who like their acquaintance, maybe they're in the film business or whatever, then you become sort of colleagues. You kind of know about them and maybe you talk shop once or whatever. And then there's some sort of common interest where you guys actually go, hey, there's this project you want to work on it. Boom, now you become collaborators, right? So each of those concentric circles moving inward, you get to the next level by just finding deeper and deeper common interest. And you guys did this, we've all done this with romance, right? Or maybe if we haven't had romance yet, we're imagining what it might be like, and this will help you. There's all of humanity, then there's humans, and then there's acquaintance that you might know, and then there's the people of for thousands of people that you know, there's some people that you're attracted to, and the ones that you're attracted to and they're attracted back, then brink comes into a romance, right? But each of those circles are like escalation points in the relationship. And I want you to see that you've been doing this your whole life. And there's been some times that it's been a total train wreck for you and me and for all of us. And there's other times it actually was pretty easy. And so this program helps you show how you've been escalating relationships, and you'll learn from how you've done it so that you can build on your strengths and then do that over and over and over again in a repeatable way that's easy and fun and perfectly customized to you and your style. And another way to look at it is just high school. Like, okay, so you have your whole town with a big circle, and then there's actually the people that were there at your high school, and then they're your classmates. So there's a lot of people at school that actually weren't in your classes, but some of the people in your classes, your teams or whatever, And then from them, maybe you guys crack jokes in the back of the class, and then you became friends, right? So, but that's how that escalation works. And so that same pattern you can do, I promise, to build relationships in Hollywood. It literally is no different. It's a slightly different flavor of the same game you've been playing your whole life. All your relationships have been some sort of progression of this sort of thing. Okay, another model that really that might be helpful you because people have kind of a weird thought about what Hollywood is and how these things work is let's see if I extend this frame a little bit. Okay. It says fat cat producer on the side. There's you like Kermit, writing your script away, banging away at it, and you maybe have 3 scripts or whatever, and you're like, I'm going to get this to Hollywood, and then Hollywood is a place where that big fat cat producer is, and it's kind of a model of how most people think about the this game, um, and uh, and then they get into a little bit more, and they realize it's kind of worse than that. It's like they're not the only writer in town. There's a lot of writers, and there's a lot of scripts. Something like 100,000 scripts get finished every year, and they're all trying to get to Hollywood. There's other markets in other parts of the world, but a lot of people want to go to Hollywood, and they go to this big fat cat person. You're like, oh my god, that's never going to happen, right? It's this whole big sort of funnel experience, and I have no shot, right? The odds are totally against me. So, the reality though is this is you. You're cranking away, and you really are the center of your universe in a sense. It's like all those friends and all those relationships you've already made, you've done it in your own way. And yes, there are times like contests or this or that where there is a flood of competition, but there's ways of sort of finding your own pockets of people based on your interests and your real passions, where you can actually kind of slice through. And you're not competing with 100,000 people. You might be competing with 0 or a couple or whatever, but it's like way more manageable. So I want you to look at Hollywood this way. So there's all these different pieces of Hollywood. I mean, and there's all these different producers, not just one, right? There's 550 TV shows, and each of those has a set of 5 or 10, producers and executives and people, and then there's independent films, and there's all sorts of things. So like, there are so many things that are surrounding to you, and you're not directly competing against 100,000 people, right? So you just find your way into those different pockets in a way that feels good, that feels like that escalation of relationships that you've done your whole life. So that's, like I'm saying, that's the way it's always been for you. Like if we look at high school, again, you were like, oh my God, it's not like if you were thinking, I got to make friends in high school. It's like, well, it doesn't quite work that way. It's like you were you, and there was the early version of you that was kind of telling stories. And maybe you were actually writing stories. And then you had classes and you had teams and clubs or whatever. And then within those clubs, you just started finding your people, just by common interest or, oh, that person made me laugh, or this person was like really nice to me. But it came really easy. You didn't have to it wasn't a speed dating experience where you had to kind of look at all X amount of people in your high school. It was like, no, one class at a time, one group at a time. Maybe the person was next at the locker next to you. And there are a lot of people that you're like, yeah, I don't like that person. And that's fine. And that's the way Hollywood's going to be. There's a lot of people in Hollywood you're not going to like. So that's fine. You want to filter the ones in, the good ones in, that are matches for you, the good matches in, and filter out the other ones. So this system helps you with these 4 different mini workshops. The first one is the social media profile workshop. It gives you really actionable ideas to start getting some real results really quickly about how you can actually think differently about this game, so it's not so painful and terrible, and how social media isn't like this awful thing. It's just a tool, and you can use the tool however you want, including a really powerful, soulful way that makes you feel good and you enjoy it. The second mini workshop is about defining your superpower. It's like, who are you? What's your life purpose? What stories are you here to tell? That is what powers you into finding those circles of your people. It's based just on your passions, just like your best friend. Your best friend and you talk about subject X, right? You just have a shared passion, right? That's in a way what you're doing. You've written a movie that's about subject X, and you're finding a producer that also likes X, right? But it starts with defining what that X is for you, right? The third mini workshop is about specifically, systematically, how you can get into conversations online with producers in Hollywood, or maybe representatives, but generally in my system, I don't bother with representation. It comes later. Talk more about that later, but you really want to build relationships with producers, mini workshop 3 takes you step by step through that process. The fourth one is building your audience, because you are expressing your stories in a 100-page screenplay or in a TV show idea. I promise you, you can also take those same skills and tell stories in the tiny boxes of social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Those skills are directly transferable, and I'll show you exactly how to do that and how much power you generate in your career when you actually have a whole community of people that love your stuff. And they're right here, guys. They're right here on your phone. It's just, you just have to figure out your way of creating the content that feels true to you, and then your people will be attracted to you, and you'll build a whole community. I have a client that I worked with has 3 million followers online. How did he do it? He just picked up his phone and he did his thing, and he's funny, and people started following. And now he has more power than a lot of people, and he has Hollywood coming all over him. So coming to him, excuse me. Wow. So anyway, that's an overview of the program. And what's even better is, like I said, I'll give you the ideas behind the system in those mini workshops, but then we're going to actually have a whole 28-day challenge where we're all going to come together, and it's going to be really fun. And we're going to apply these things, because what will happen is you can read books and you can look at stuff and you can get online, content, but you run into trouble and you're like, what do I do? And a lot of people sort of give up. So we have those things to kind of get you primed and do it if you're a do-it-yourself, or you can run with it and go, or you can come together with this community, and it's going to be really awesome. So you can get information, brookselms.gumroad.com. You'll be able to purchase any of the workshops as soon as they're available. And yeah, I really appreciate you watching this. I am sending you lots and lots of love.